Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Flamecast. This is our video series where we highlight past, present, and future artists and creative wonderkins who are all people that we would have at FlameCon. And today is no exception. We have the multi-talented, multi-hyphenated Steenz. Steenz, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, my name is Steenz. I am a cartoonist and editor and professor. I'm the cartoonist on the syndicated comic strip Heart of the City, and I edit titles as well as editing pitches for people. And I also teach cartooning at Webster University.
Awesome. I'm in awe of how much you do. It is like, I feel lazy.
Don't. I just have like extreme control over time management.
And time is a concept with I am barely, related to. So. Because I mean, you edit all this work, you contribute so much, you have this wonderful archival quality.
Yes, that was my first graphic novel, and I also do class visits, and I talk to people about contracts and intellectual property and taxes and all the stuff that you need to learn when you're a working artist, so I do a little bit of everything.
It's really astounding. Like, there are artists who they do their work and that's it, and that's what they do. But you are putting in the work to raise people up.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring. And so, like, I want to know who or what inspires you.
Oh man, it's a very good question. I usually go with, I would say, my peers, because I mean, it's just seeing other people try their hardest and work to get better and really focus on their craft is inspiring to me as well. And so it makes me want to keep working on my craft and to grow and to learn. And I like seeing that I'm not alone in this industry. It's a lot of us who are trying to, put their stamp on things. There's a lot of us that really want to, be successful and make their living as a cartoonist. And it's nice when I can see other people are doing it successfully. So yeah, I just care a whole lot about the community and about, the business aspect of comics, but also the friendship aspect as well. It's just, I don't know, it just feels really nice when we all succeed. One of the things that I always remember is Robin Warren, who is, people may know her from Geek Girl Strong. She always says, you put one hand out in front of you to get ahead, and one hand behind you to take someone with you. And that has definitely stuck in my mind since she said that, because that's what I feel like is most important to me, is making sure that I make the journey easy for someone else.
Yeah, it's often overlooked about that, because there's a lot of people who they're just very focused on their own path and their own sort of success, I guess. And one of my friends, Keisha Zoller, she says, rising tide raises all ships.
Yes.
My success is your success.
Yep.
Yep.
And
totally
that's agree with that.
That's what sort of community is about, and what's important about, being in touch and being a pillar of your community.
Yeah. I also think it's just like helpful to have that as a part of your work life, is having a really good community. Because I mean, even for me as an editor, I'm often working with other editors and agents who are trying to find other creators and cartoonists, and making sure that I know who those creators are and who are those people who are trying to make their way is really helpful, because I can always say, hey, I know someone who can actually fit this description, and maybe they can, you guys can work together. So I've been called a great connector once before, and I definitely feel that that is where I'm supposed to be.
That's very ties into what was on my mind next, was like, who do you consider as part of your community? Like, where have you met them? Like, how do you connect with them?
Yeah. So, I mean, I consider all my artist friends as part of my community, but actually I had a friend that I just recently made in the past few years, and their name is Rico and Rico Taveras. And they were one of the people that signed up for my workshop at 2019 FlameCon. They wanted to have like a one-on-one and we could talk about whatever. And they were so interested in working in editorial, which I think is just like amazing, because there's so many people who want to make comics, but not as many people want to edit comics. And so it was really cool to see someone who had just gotten out of school, they're just starting their journey into the comics community. And after I met them, I invited them to a Discord server that I'm in, and they are a moderator for that now. I invited them to be my mentee on a project where I was editing a 5-issue series. And so I was like, well, how about you be my mentee? I'll pay you for your time, and you can just basically shadow me as I work, so you can see how that process is done. And I feel like I can rely on Rico at all times now. Like, if I need an editorial assistant, I know exactly who I'm going to ask first. I need someone who is plugged in and knows a bunch of other creators, especially up and coming creators. I know I can ask Rico. So it's just like, I find that by helping other people with what they want to do, it in turn kind of helps me out in the long run as well. I guess it's just a thing of, you put out good energy comes back at you in some way, shape, or form, even if you don't know how it's going to happen. So yeah, that's who I think of whenever I think of like a successful, like, community building sort of relationship,
Well, and I think it's important, especially because, in the comics industry, which has typically been very cis white hetero,
yes.
and a lot of those opportunities historically have gone to other cis white hetero male creatives. And having our community, having people like you provide these opportunities for young upcoming artists and editors to learn these skills, and helps get them sort of opportunities that they might not have had otherwise within the industry.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, what's your experience? And if, it's like this whole, like, snake eating its tail thing of,
it definitely requires people to take chances with people. That's something that I try to do as often as possible. If someone needs a colorist, my first thought isn't to choose someone who's already established, is to choose someone who may not have had even their first gig. I want to make sure that they get their chance in. So yeah, that's just really what I care about the most, is making sure that there's an open doorway. Because I wouldn't even say that it was a closed doorway for me. For me, it was mostly just like, I'm doing what I'm doing, but I also don't see a lot of people who look like me doing what I'm doing. And so I feel like, depending on what your circles are, when you pick from inside your circle, you really only pick from a certain group of people. And so I'm hoping that I can inspire people to expand their circles, so that their people that they choose from to do these kinds of works come from a variety of backgrounds, so we don't have to keep running into the situation where you just hire your friends and your friends are only white cis het dudes. Then that's, it just keeps, turning and turning. So it's good to really think about, okay, who needs a shot? Who have I seen that's been really working on their craft and just needs that one job, you know. Who knows what
Yeah.
that one job is, but everything leads to something else, you know.
Well, I mean, we're seeing it now, especially with, not in the, I mean, we're seeing it in the comic industry, sort of, somewhat, but in other mediums as well, like television and film, especially
Mm-hmm.
television, where a lot more marginalized groups are being put in positions of having more of the creative control, and
Yes.
writing, and we're seeing a lot more representation, both in front of and behind the camera.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen so many new shows that feature indigenous characters,
Yeah.
and a lot more shows that have more BIPOC representation.
Yeah.
Um, so that moving slightly from this wonderful and important conversation, but I want to know the fun stuff. Not that that's not fun, um, but like, what are you getting down and nerdy with? Like, what are you consuming in pop culture right now?
Oh, what am I consuming in pop culture right now? Well, I just finished watching um, Love on the Spectrum US. I love. And it's just a really, really sweet show. And I like a lot of reality TV. And so it's nice to see like a show about dating that isn't like competitive, but
Mm,
it's also about like how you communicate with people and what it means to have a successful relationship. So that's one thing that I've been watching. I'm trying to think, what else have I been watching? Obviously, I have to watch my shows like Top Chef and The Staircase. Yeah, I've been really into a lot of true crime stuff. And honestly, since the pandemic, actually, I've been having a harder time getting into fiction and
mm,
really wanting to look at what real people are doing in the here and now,
yeah.
because I like fiction, obviously, but there's something about the reality that we're living in that I want to see more of. And I think
Hmm.
it's more because of how isolated we've become during this pandemic, So it's like I can always watch a cartoon somewhere. I can't always see what someone else is doing that I've never met, because without conventions, without going out and trying new things and just kind of being outside in big groups of people, it's hard to get that injection of extroverted people persony that stuff. I just want to be around people, and that means my intake of entertainment is also like that. But the one thing that is fiction that I'm really, really watching right now is Jag. Are you familiar with the TV show Jag?
Yes.
Yeah, for those who are not familiar, it is what NCIS spun off of.
Yeah.
And it was a legal uh, military drama series from 97 to I think 2006. And there was a point in time where I really messed up my hand, and so I couldn't draw. And I had been watching cable, and on cable was Jag, and I watched like 2 episodes, and I was like, this show is amazing. How have I never seen this show? And so I went on like an entire online search to find where it was streaming. And then I found out that only 60 or like 80 episodes of the entire season are streaming anywhere. You literally can't get it anywhere else because Paramount and CBS just could not work it out. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it pulled so much from reality. Like there's a lot of like scenes of like Bill Clinton giving someone like a Medal of Honor that didn't actually happen, So I think it has something to do with that. But I went on a long search finding it, and then I found that I have to buy the box set. So my spouse bought me the box set because they were like, this is too much. Like, I can't believe you're still looking for this. And so now I'm on season 6. I'm getting through the box set of Jag. And I really like it. I love shows that are, drama, because I really like interpersonal relationships, and I try and put that sort of thing in my work. And you get a lot of that good interpersonal drama from some classic TV drama, and it inspires me. And also, my parents were Marines, so it's a little, as the much of a problem we have with the military complex here in the United States. Once you're born a Marine, you kind of can't stop wanting to.
Yeah, Jag was my dad's favorite. He was in the Navy and he was a judge advocate general, so in the Navy.
Incredible.
So yeah, there was Jag was on quite a bit.
Great, I love it. And then also just like the fact that the guy who made it is the same guy that did Quantum Leap, which is another great show. And there's a lot of actual like crossover with Quantum Leap stuff in Jag if you're really looking for it. So, like there's a time where they go to a Quantum Leap convention. That's not like straight up. I don't even know, what do you call that? Nepotism, putting your own show in another show.
Yes, I mean other people have done that before.
It's true, but that's the kind of stuff that I really love. Christmas episodes and the bottle episodes and the episodes where they all sing, like all of that stuff is like, I feel like it's a part of serialized drama, and I want to make sure that my stuff also has those good pillars of serialized drama.
So you've been on a Jag.
Yeah. Yes, I have.
I understand. We all have we all have our shows that we're maybe not the most outwardly about, that we're big fans of, or but we still watch them. So yeah. Well, Steenz, it's been a real pleasure chatting with you. Where can people find you?
So you can find me on social media. On Twitter, I'm Oh Hey Steenz, and I talk about comics and probably Jag. On Instagram, I'm Oh Hey Steenz. I talk about how much I skate. So if you like roller skating, follow me on Instagram. I also been painting a lot, trying to do some art that's not monetized. So I've been doing some portraits recently. You can find all that on my Instagram. And I'm also on TikTok. So if you want to look for me on TikTok, that's where I put all of my skating videos. So there I am. Oh Hey Steenz on pretty much everything.
Including your website.
Including my website, yes. Go to my website. My website has all of my newest art. It has all the shows I'm going to be at this year. And it also has the standard comic script, which I just released with Camilla Zhang about a week or two ago. So if you need some help writing your very first comic script, please use the standard comic script. It is free and available to download on my website.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see you at a future FlameCon in the not too distant future, as well as all of you. We hope that you're able to join us, if not this year, then very soon. Until next time, we're out.